Generally yields back now. I recognize Ms. Harshbarger from the great state of Tennessee. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the witnesses for being here today. I'll start with Mr. Thierer. To support global deployment of American AI and restore regulatory alignment, should the U.S. pursue a voluntary federal trust label to certify the safety and reliability of AI systems? And if so, do you have any suggestions about what the key elements may be included in this voluntary system?
There's a variety of good ideas, Congresswoman, in the House AI Task Force related to this and other ideas for national types of approaches to AI policy. But let's be clear, to be very different than the sort of European-style approach that's been suggested by others, which is sort of top-down, technocratic, sort of guilty by designed framework. And we don't want that in America. America can come up with a sort of more bottom-up, flexible set of rules of the road for AI policy.
Okay. You mentioned that China's on our heels with AI, and 2023, the Cyberspace Administration of China released regulations regarding regenerative AI. In these measures, they explicitly provided compliance exemptions for industry, associations, enterprises, education and research institutions, public cultural bodies, and related professional bodies that simply research, develop, or use generative AI technology without providing such services to the public. Can American AI stakeholders count on the same certainty in the U.S. under our current regulatory framework?
Yeah, Congresswoman, we just had a hearing just 6 weeks ago here in this building in the Science and Technology Committee about how China's catching up, and it was called the DeepSeek moment hearing. And we did a deep dive into what China's up to. I mean, a proliferation of models and systems from DeepSeek itself to Qwen to Manus and many others. So we face stiff competition from China, and they have their own regime and their own values of control, surveillance, censorship.
Yeah.
Again, this is why the American model has to prevail internationally, and we have to make sure we get our policy right so that we can square off against that sort of threat internationally.
Yeah, I agree. Mr. Bargava, you mentioned how AI sandboxes and pilot programs can help foster innovation in a U.S. playbook for AI that the world could follow. Do you have any successful examples that we could consider moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the healthcare space, I think this could be extremely useful. So one of the companies actually in our portfolio is here today. Hippocratic AI creates software for nurses, and so allows them to use AI. It's an example of where nurses are overworked. There's 7% more deaths in a hospital, and also 42 or even more percent of nursing time is done on these remedial tasks instead of actually treating patients. And so we would advocate for example, putting in sandboxes AI healthcare technology where the government, the companies, and their investors can all carefully watch the progress and be able to, from there, generate a framework for how to regulate AI in healthcare.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the many industries. There are obviously some horrible stories, and we need regulation and we need guidance and framework, but we should also not lose sight of the fact that this technology can be extremely important to many, many places, including government, which can benefit from AI efficiencies as well.
I totally agree about that. You know, we see it used in radiology in different places as well, and if you can streamline a work day for a nurse or physician or any healthcare provider, it makes more sense to do that. And I'll continue with that, Mr. Bargava. Earlier this year, President Trump announced the largest investment in AI infrastructure history, the Stargate project, which is a joint venture between private sector leaders that'll bolster American AI capabilities alongside our partners in the Middle East. Can you address how projects like Stargate are key to our strategic advantage in AI and why it's misleading to cite smaller scale Chinese models like DeepSeek as proof that compute no longer matters?
Absolutely. Also, a lot of the innovation in China has been copying technology that already existed in the United States as well. Many of our models have been open source over the years. A lot of our best labs release experiences as well. So I think the U.S. is still ahead, but it needs to keep investing to be ahead. And one part of it for sure is this infrastructure investment, but another part of it, which I'm also here to advocate, is encouraging more startups and more university funding. So I really do think that the American universities and the American startups are really the advantage we have that China is unable to replicate. We have to match them in infrastructure, we have to match them in spending, but we also have our secret sauce, which is the professors, the students, the entrepreneurs, the founders, and it's really important whatever framework comes out is unified and one framework. You know, the really large companies, big tech that's been cited many times, will have no problem taking care of state-by-state regulations. They have buildings full of lawyers, buildings full of compliance folks. It's going to be the small startups, founders, and entrepreneurs that we really have to look out for here.
Okay, well, thank you, and my time is up, so I yield back.
The